It's so hard for me to sit back here in this studio looking at a guy out here hollering my name when last year I spent more money on spilt liquor in bars from one side of this world to the other than you made. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo!
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Pro Wrestling Extreme Talk. We are back at it with Striker and JJ, and we got Jimmy the High Flying Hippie on the show tonight. Jay, how do you feel about that?
It's gonna be a good one. I sound like Steve Harvey on Family Feud. Got another good one for you tonight, folks.
Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting time. We've been trying to get Jimmy on for a while now, and it finally just clicked. We were able to get everybody together at the right time.
As they say, it's a good get.
Yeah, good things come to those who wait,
I guess.
You ready to bring Jimmy on?
Let's bring him on, man. Let's get going.
All right.
Let me get a little swig of water here.
Jimmy, how are you, my friend?
How's it going, guys?
Good, man. Welcome to Pro Wrestling Extreme Talk. We were glad you're here.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is a long time coming. We had trouble syncing up the schedules. Probably my fault more than yours. But thanks for having me.
It's usually our fault.
And Larry's being nice because it's normally my fault. So
yeah. Well, we'll just blame Larry this time. But thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. This is an awesome show. I've been watching you guys. Good stuff.
Cool, yeah, man. I appreciate that. So before we get started, Jimmy, we just want to thank our sponsors, Habits Beer and Tobacco, 960 Franklin Street, and also Red's Texas Barbecue, 3116 Elton Road. Good food and even better alcohol. Right, Jay?
Goddamn right.
All right, Jimmy. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself that doesn't know who Jimmy the High Flying Hippie is.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I've been a professional athlete since I was 14 years old. I actually I was an inline skater, rollerblading in layman's terms, but I ride half pipe. So I competed at the X Games trials. I'm a silver medalist at the Gravity Games. I won National Inline Skate Series 6 times. But then around the age of 16 or so, me and my older brother started attending ECW events. And we caught a lot of that live, saw some pretty historical moments from ECW. And I always, from that point forward, my focus wasn't skating, even though I was still active in skating. But I wanted to get involved in professional wrestling. So from that point forward, as a kid, from the point I was 16 on, I pursued professional wrestling. Actually lied when I was underage to get into wrestling school before I was 18 a couple times. And from once I bounced around a bunch of places, training 3 or 4 different places, and it just wasn't, like, places would close down or it just wasn't legit training until I found Kato, actually at Imagine Dojo. It was KCW Dojo at the time, but I went to wrestling school with him. I trained under Kato. I still train under Kato. It's 14 years later or something like that.
Very cool. So did you start out in KCW?
I did. I had my first couple matches. I wrestled under a mask at a couple places at like Allied Powers Professional Wrestling. I think they were out of Punxsutawney at the time. And just like a little, like when I was really green, just like getting tried out. And but as the Flying Hippie, yeah, I debuted and was my main promotion from the start was KCW. Absolutely.
Very cool.
Also, in my training class, some of the other names that were in there, Bill Collier was actually in my training class. I trained with him.
Who's Bill Collier? We don't know who Bill Collier is.
Yeah, we're not
he's
familiar.
A cruiserweight. Yeah, he's a midget wrestler. He's okay. No, Bill Collier is one of my best friends. We're an unlikely duo, me and him, because we're nothing anything alike at all. But me and him became good friends at KCW Dojo, along with his girl at the time, Brittany Force, is still also a good friend of mine, and a good friend of his too. Yeah, the three of us traveled the road together. I mean, Christ, I probably had 400 or 500 matches with Bill Collier. I mean, me and him have had some wars together in probably 20-some states. It's ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Would you say that Bill would have been your best opponent up to this date?
Yes, absolutely. And my most frequent opponent, probably, too. I think you have check cage match. I think I hold more wins over Bill than he holds over me, though, prior to us becoming a tag team, And,
right.
yeah. So,
shots fired at big time. There you go, brother.
No, he's like, go ahead.
We will have to look into that. We got to see what the record is.
Yeah, but no, Bill Collier, he's like my brother. I mean, I've stayed with him. Me and him have traveled together. I remember doing trips all over the country with him for pro wrestling, and keeping him sane most of the time with my stupid antics. So he's a good dude.
I've been friends with him for a lot of years. He's a very good guy.
Excellent.
So you mentioned ECW. So would you say that was your first? What was your first memory? Let me rephrase. What was the first time, the first influence that you got from professional wrestling?
Oh, man. As a kid, my father took me and my brother, I have an older cousin too, took us all to pro wrestling. That was the thing. Like Saturday night's main event at my house was huge, It was like bigger than like the Super Bowl and stuff. Like WrestleMania was like the biggest thing. It was bigger than the Super Bowl in my house as a kid. But my father took us to wrestling. I saw, I'm trying to think of some of those historical angles I saw. I saw the Brian Pillman tennis racket to the throat on WCW. Oh. Yeah, I saw that live. I was there as a kid for that.
That was in, wasn't that in Altoona?
It was in Altoona to Jaffa. Yeah. I saw Great Muta against Eli Gonte live. I mean, we went to like Clash of the Champions, all kinds of stuff. But like my first major influence as a kid, like wrestling, was Ricky Steamboat. I think it was only because my brother was such a hard Ric Flair guy at the time. Kind of showing my age here with the Flair and Steamboat feud, but the deal at the time was Flair and Steamboat. My brother was a hard Ric Flair guy, so I had to go Steamboat. You know what I mean? And then even as I got older, I even like fire breathing WWF Ricky Steamboat. I was a kid, I thought it was cool. So yeah, but I'd say Ricky Steamboat and the wrestling I caught live, because like I said, I saw so many stuff. I saw the Hollywood Blondes live. So I saw early Steve Austin live as a kid. I remember seeing Too Cold Scorpio and Chris Benoit wrestle to a draw when I was 10 years old, and I can still remember it vividly. Yeah, so many influences. But then as I got into ECW and got to be older, me and my brother used to mill around back behind the buildings and backstage when we could and stuff. And Rob Van Dam was one of the coolest guys we ever met. So he became an influence to me later then, and still is today. I still see him around sometimes.
That's awesome, man. That early 90s WCW, that was my favorite era.
Oh, yeah, mine too.
I love that stuff.
That's the thing about showing up on some of these indie shows, and you get to see wrestling from all eras. I've been on shows with Tommy Rich and guys that I watched on, you know what I mean? Guys you saw as a kid and stuff, and it's just incredible. It's 10-year-old me is very happy.
So it looks like you're comfortable outside, hanging out on a blanket. This is the first for us.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. I kind of probably live a little bit differently than most people, but I spend more time probably outside than inside. So it's just how I do things.
Very cool. Very cool. So, Jimmy, besides KCW and now Imagine Wrestling. What other federations have you worked for? Can you give us some?
Oh man, this is probably a tough question for Bill Collier also because we've wrestled like 30 different promotions. But I'll just name some of the bigger, probably ones that are more known to the area and some of the bigger ones. Around here, I've wrestled. Let me think. Diamond Troy Justice used to run Diamond Championship Wrestling. That was kind of what I did after KCW. Like he ran a pretty big thing. It was up in the mountain towns and it was really cool. Hastings is a town that Imagine Wrestling went to. That was an old Diamond Championship Wrestling town. But I wrestled for many, many years for Pro Wrestling Rampage out of Lake Erie, Pennsylvania, and they ran events in like right in Lake Erie, right in on the beaches in Presque Isle. They ran them in Girard, Lake City, all those surrounding towns. They were pretty big, and wrestling's red hot up there. They had a really cool thing. They'd show the wrestling show was in a bar, but it had like an arena, so you could pay to get in to the show, and the show sold out. They would show it on the TVs and open up the windows in the bar so you could see it. You paid half price to get in the bar and watch it then. And they would just stack them on top of each other up there. It was a really good time of the day. They actually kind of built that promotion around Bill Collier. I mean, he held their heavyweight title for years up there. But yeah, I wrestled for Pro Wrestling Rampage for a really long time. I wrestled for Maryland Championship Wrestling. Is another bigger, larger promotion that I wrestled for in the area. Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling. I think they're out in like Hazleton, Allentown area. They're kind of a Wild Samoans affiliate who I'm pretty good friends with. I've wrestled for the Wild Samoans. Where else? Cool. Jersey All Pro, Pro Wrestling Unplugged. I mean, you name a promotion within a credible trained promotion within 100 miles of here. I've probably been there at least once. So
definitely has to be a trained promotion.
Yes, absolutely. That's crucial. There was no other way. When I was pursuing professional wrestling and asked around the backstage at ECW, there was one answer: wrestling school. There was one answer, and that's what it was. It was wrestling school. There was no other option for me. I never can even consider doing it any other way. So, but yeah.
Awesome.
So you mentioned earlier that Bill was probably, one of the best workers you worked with, or the best worker you worked with. Other than him, who would you say would be the second best?
I got really lucky to work a lot of like better known names in wrestling at a certain point. Like that's when I started to feel like I really started to figure this out, when I was able to hang with like guys like Al Snow or Marty Jannetty or Too Cold Scorpio. I'm trying to think. Me and Bill wrestled a lot of guys too. I remember getting praise from guys like Nikita Koloff and these are guys, like I said, these are guys I watched growing up that can still kind of do this and go. But I wrestled Marty Jannetty a couple of days in a row on a tour, and it was phenomenal. I mean, it was spectacular. Everything, it was just like absolute magic to be in the ring out there. But those were some of the best hands I've been in with. Believe it or not, Tatanka was a really good experience to be in the ring with. I learned a lot from him. I wrestled more modern guys. Like I had some of my first matches, when I was really starting to get good with, he was DJZ. He was Shima Zion at the time. I think he's Joaquin Wild now on NXT.
Yeah, Joaquin Wild.
Yeah. I've probably wrestled him a dozen or so more times at different promotions. It was just someone I kept running into and having really good matches with, and therefore they would have it somewhere at a different promotion because everyone knew it was good. So I got early on, he actually helped me out a lot and was taught me how a lot of the stuff that young guys have a lot of the same weird quirks in that ring. He showed me the pitfalls real early of why you want to break these habits. So he helped me out a lot too. So, but yeah, so that was just a couple of the guys. I mean, M-Dog 20, he's like the son of Havoc. I mean, Matt Cross, I wrestled him a bunch of times. You learn a lot from a guy like that. I mean, he's been around forever. Just anyone. I mean, I learned a lot from wrestling Chris Coleman and Oscar Maverick last weekend. I mean, you learn something really every time out there if the guys are good and know what they're doing.
Man, that's a hell of a resume.
Yeah.
Coming off the Joaquin talk about NXT, do you have any aspirations to try to pursue an NXT or maybe get a shot at AEW with a dark elevation? There's so many
Absolutely.
shows.
There is. I spent a couple days on the road training with NXT and stuff, a couple weeks in a row, actually. So I actually at one point in time thought I was going to get the NXT deal. But I mean, I've had tryouts with Ring of Honor in the past. I've wrestled for Evolve, like Maryland Championship Wrestling is kind of like a sister company of Evolve. Jersey All Pro at the time was a big company to get. I actually wrestled Teddy Hart there when I was pretty young. So I've taken a couple stabs. I've taken a couple stabs.
How was that experience with Teddy Hart?
Teddy Hart, to be honest, my experiences with him have all been good. I considered him a pretty good friend at one point in time. He was another guy that helped me get in a couple places and actually spoke up for me on a couple different occasions. So as erratic and wild as the stories are, my experiences with Teddy have been like pleasurable, surprisingly. So I haven't seen him around in a couple of years though. So I don't know how it would be today.
Well, that's good to hear, because I've heard conflicting stories about old Teddy Hart.
Yeah. Me too.
So now we get to the other side of the coin, and we have a phrase on this show. It's called the shitheads. You don't have to say names if you don't want to, or you can shoot, brother.
Oh, man.
How many times have you, or who have you ran into that was just a complete shithead?
Ooh, eek. Let me think. If I can come up with one, I'll name it.
And if you haven't, that's great.
Yeah, they've been kind of few and far between. I mean, I'm actually at I grew up in kind of a rough area, and I spent a lot of time at like festivals and places that just become unsafe at nighttime. I can fight pretty well, and if you can see, I'm like, for some reason, I'm like a superhero like athlete, I can defend myself pretty well in situations that anything would ever get out of hand, which it hasn't many times. But this will make Bill Collier laugh. Papa Don. I don't know if you remember the Greek god Papa Don. He's a wrestler from Brooklyn, New York. I had a couple bad experiences with him. Nothing too crazy. He was just, I just found him a little difficult. That was all. But not a bad guy outside the ring. Just completely different when you're inside. So it's I mean, it is what it is. It's a rough business, man. It's there's a lot of, like myself, there's a lot of weird personalities and extreme emotions. These are highly driven individuals that get involved in this, and it's like playing on a sports team. You kind of learn to roll with the punches and everything, kind of you leave it all in the field kind of thing. So my experiences in pro wrestling have been, for the most part, very pleasant, peaceful though, and all business.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. You hear some bad stories, but that's good to hear. So,
well, Jimmy, I actually thought that you was going to say the number one shithead was going to be Lance Payne. I actually thought that's who you was going to say.
Well, I didn't want to drudge it up. I really didn't.
And he is watching, by the way.
Oh, how do you know that? Where can I see this? Is there chat? Where can I?
Yeah, there's a chat.
Okay, well,
you can't see it, but I can.
Isn't that convenient? All right, well, let me tell Lance Payne. It's interesting. These guys never leave me alone. They show up. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna snitch me out on here too? All right, with these narcs and whistleblowers, they ain't got no control over Jimmy the Hippie. I'll see them again very soon, and there'll be nothing they can do about it. Next time, I will drill my face right to the back of them dreadlocks, like I should have Saturday night in Hastings. Or Altoona, I'm sorry. But yeah, not a shocker. Not a shocker those guys showed up. So if this feed drops and there's any shenanigans with the internet, look no further than neighbor Johnny and Lance Payne.
Hey, I hate to say this, but Lance paid me $1 whole to say ban the pile driver. So I got to fulfill my obligation to say that. So I'm $1 richer.
Ban the pile driver.
You turncoat.
Hey, yeah. I did it for the money.
Oh, Larry. Come on, man. It's not all about that green, brother. Come on. No. Thing about Lance Payne is like I said, this is a guy, I mean, I would think that his name might not even actually be Lance. I mean, this guy has everything he's done is a lie. I recall a tag match one time where he would take the neck brace off if his team was winning, and then he'd put it back on if they were losing. Like this guy's it's completely ridiculous. I got Mama Payne up in my inbox threatening me for injuring her son and all this stuff. Dude, dude, this dude causes me all kinds of problems, man. So, and I haven't spoke too much on it. I haven't spoke candidly too much on it. I've stuck strictly to the consequences, not to the actual culprit, Lance Payne. I've focused on the pile driver and how I'm gonna blah blah blah. But you see, this guy, and he hides behind this neck brace and these idiots and neighbor Johnny, and they have like this cult like thing, and I hate it. I hate it. Nobody's touched those guys. Management, anything they do, they've overstepped management now. It's like the weirdest thing that goes on, and me being the anti-establishment guy I am, I can't wait. I can't wait till I can get my hands on them. Neighbor Johnny wrote me into a handicap match and then bailed on it last weekend. Like these guys are punks, and I smell some fear in the neighborhood, and I'm gonna trim their hedges. I'm gonna burn them to the ground. Yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming, neighborhood.
He's had that neck brace on longer than Bob Orton wore that wrist cast.
Yeah, that thing's got to smell funny by this point. Absolutely.
Oh, that's hilarious. We're going to get through some of the comments here in a few minutes after we get to the end of this interview, but there's some interesting comments being said.
No, okay. Well, hopefully my legalize the pile driver movement followed me to the chat, and it's not just all pro neighborhood, because I may induce vomiting.
Well, all right, so present or past, who would your dream opponent be?
Oh, wow. That's a really tough question. I'm going to say, oh, man, maybe early WCW Great Muta.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because I'd need that. I mean, he was the first like cool guy that kind of like broke the rules and was a villain. And I was like on the fence whether I liked him or not. And but it was just like the paint, and he was just so different and everything. And then his work was phenomenal back then. So like if I was gonna be like plopped into any era of like past wrestling that like would be, within some feasible range, because I mean I'd love to tie it up with Farmer Burns or George Hackenschmidt, but I feel like that's just going way too far. So like I would probably say early 90s Muta, or maybe even some Ricky Steamboat, which would have to be a very, very clean encounter between two very, very good guys, myself and Steamboat. There wouldn't be any pulling of the hair, rakes of the eyes in that match. So like I get the chills thinking about it, guys. I get the chills thinking about it. I'm such a wrestling fan. I'm like a little kid when I start to think about it,
For some reason, man, I don't know why, but this just came to mind. You and Vampiro.
Oh, Vampiro! I've actually met Vampiro twice. Yeah, the Gathering of the Juggalos, or Juggalo Champion shit wrestling or whatever it is. Yeah, I met Vampiro. A couple times. Cool guy. I never got to wrestle with him though. Yeah, I definitely like late WCW Vampiro, or maybe even like AAA Mexico Vampiro.
Maybe even earlier, yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm like a wrestling nerd. I could bore you guys with history and stuff from all over the place, man. I drank it in.
Bore me.
Absolutely not.
One of these times we'll have to have me back on. We'll do a pure wrestling history talk. I can do any era, any continent. I mean, I know a ton. I've sat down with guys like Jim Cornette and people like that, even Dominic DeNucci, and had full wrestling conversations. And yeah, it's like a thing I enjoy very much, as being like a wrestling historian. Yeah.
Anytime you want to do that, man, you shoot us a date and it's booked.
Oh, yeah, excellent. We'll have to make like a 5-hour show. You guys will be falling asleep. I'll still be talking. Yeah.
I'll just make sure I'll make sure I have enough beer later. We'll have chicken wings and we'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be all right. Maybe Lance Payne can throw him another $1.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Jimmy, between you saying about you being able to remember history of wrestling, and JJ's the same way. You and him can talk probably for hours and hours. But if I asked him what he did 5 minutes ago, he can't fucking remember what the hell he did. But he can remember who body slammed who in the Coliseum, wherever.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Yeah, I can remember like whole matches from WrestleMania 4, but I couldn't tell you what I did earlier. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm kind of the same way, man. It is what it is. The things I retain. Go ahead.
I remember the attendance from WrestleMania 3, but if my beautiful fiance sends me to the store for milk, I forget the goddamn milk.
Yeah, yeah. I'll walk upstairs and forget why I went up there. Yeah, I do it. Yeah, it's that.
That's funny. All right, so Jimmy, do you have any accomplishments so far in your wrestling career? Any titles or anything like that?
Yeah, I do. I have I should actually probably hang some of them up. I have a box full of plaques and awards that I've won, in addition to like the title belts. But the actual title belts that I've won, I was Pro Wrestling Rampage heavyweight champion. I think me and Bill Collier were Pro Wrestling Rampage tag team champions 4, maybe 5 times.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I've held belts at WXWC4. That's the Wild Simone's promotion. I've held the Pennsylvania Premier High Voltage title. I actually lost that to Offa Jr. You might remember him from WWE. What other belts have I held? I've held many belts. I was a PCWA United States champion for almost 3 years. I'm the current Madmar Entertainment heavyweight title that's defended mostly on like fair tours of like kind of like in like Crawford County up into like Erie area. But I've been their heavyweight champion now for almost 3 years now. Yeah, so.
Oh wow! Do they still run?
They still do. They it's like seasonal, and then COVID kind of crippled it. And they only had 1 or 2 big events in the last year. They've only had 1 or 2 big events, but up prior to that, I mean, they were running a bunch of times throughout the year. So they plan on bringing it back, and I still hold the physical belt. It's actually laying upstairs. So, yes, I mean, it's as far as I know, as soon as all the restricted affairs fold back into full swing, we're going to be back on the tours there too. So,
Very cool.
Madmar Entertainment, yeah. Well, so, I mean, I won belts at Diamond Championship Wrestling. I'm pretty good for winning belts. I was the Far North Wrestling Cruiserweight Champion, which is actually a fun belt because it's been held by so many people. Like Beth Phoenix held that belt at one point in time. Joaquin Wilde held it. Matt Cross held it. Sterling James Keenan held it, who's now Corey Graves. So many big names have held that belt, so it was a cool one to have. There's a lot of history behind that one. It's a old Pittsburgh title that's been around forever. So.
That's the first time FNW has been mentioned on our podcasts.
Oh man, FNW was a great promotion. They gave me a shot real early before anyone else really put me out there like in front as like a top guy. You know, they had me wrestle. I remember they had a tag team tournament, and I was the only singles match on the show against Matt Cross. That's how much they trusted me and how much they enjoyed my work. So yeah. Shout out to Dan Polinsky and FNW Wrestling, Far North Wrestling, that produced Corey Graves and Sam Adonis. Yeah, 2 great pieces of talent.
We hit up a couple Big Tarantula.
Tarantula, yeah, nice. Now we're talking.
We hit up a couple of those Show Striker, huh?
Yeah, we did. Jimmy, did you work for FNW when they came to Johnstown at the Westmont Grove?
I did not at that time. I think that might have been slightly before my time there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I started. They were mostly in Butler, and where else? They ran somewhere else too. West Newton before RWA and Dr. Feelgood took over up there. They ran up there too in West Newton.
Holy shit, Dr. Feelgood. That's a name out of the past.
Yeah.
There you go, buddy.
Holy crap.
Hell, we could talk all night about Pennsylvania wrestling, man. Now you're biting on some of these names. It like opens up a whole book of guys.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Listen, we're booking you again, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely have to do this again sometime, guys. It's a great time. I really enjoyed this.
So, Jay, you're up next. Sorry, I was getting ready to take your spot.
No, that's all right, buddy. So, the time that you've had in wrestling, do you have any regrets?
Yeah, I do. I do have a few. I kind of don't. I'm not someone who lives my life in regret, though. Like a man who who's trying to count the apples he doesn't have is kind of counting an empty basket. You know what I mean? So I don't. There's like nothing I do where I live actually in regret. The few things that I look back, I wish I'd have taken a stab at the bigger time promotions earlier than what I did. I mean, athletically, I'm still able to do all the things I did. But if I'd have been able to gain the knowledge that I've gained in these last probably, in the last 5 years at larger places like NXT and places like that, if I'd have been able to gain that experience when I was first starting this, by now I would be, phenomenal, and I'd probably be on television or at a major promotion. But no, I was a little kid that went to wrestling, man. I enjoy just providing that same experience. Like, if anyone's walking away with some of the same memories I walked away with, my job's complete, and I have no regrets, guys.
Awesome.
Very cool. All right, Jimmy. So our next segment is called Off the Top. JJ the Shithead is going to give you 5 wrestlers, and you got to name. When he gives you the name, the first thing that comes to the top of your head, just let it out.
Just like a word or a sentence or whatever you want to do, brother. The mic is open.
Gotcha.
So, in no random or in no particular order, Mick Foley.
Oh, Mick Foley. Ahead of his time. Ahead of his time at the time. I saw him get thrown off the cell, Hell in the Cell live. I was there.
You were at that show?
I was there. We were on the wrong side of the cage. We were on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy, Swanton Bomb. He changed the industry. A lot of guys don't give him the credit he deserves. I hope he's able to keep himself well.
Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio. He's responsible for smaller guys getting a shot.
Good answer.
Roman Reigns.
Oh, Christ.
Roman Reigns. I think he's a victim. I think he has unlimited potential and talent. He's a victim of being put into a funnel and not being able to go any direction but one. So I feel bad for Roman Reigns. I think he gets kind of a raw deal. I think he's a phenomenal piece of talent.
So, as a sidebar, did you follow the PWI Top 500?
Yeah, I've been listening there a couple years, actually.
I know that. I actually know that.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about where would you have went 1 and 2? Kenny Omega got 1, Roman got 2. Do you agree with that?
No, no, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Here's the thing. There's been times in wrestling. I'm not a huge fan of Kenny Omega, but you can't deny the guy's popularity. There's been many times in wrestling where I simply didn't get it, but I didn't need to. Like, I never got CM Punk entirely. He became a friend of mine. I have like pictures of me and him on my wall in there, but like, I never completely understood what he did and why people were so mad crazy about it. And like, I guess it's like lightning in a jar kind of thing. He just kind of caught it and wrote it. But like, yeah, like, I don't need to get it either, Like, I feel like there's like, wrestling's kind of like I hate to use the term, but it's like a 3-ring circus thing. If you don't like the clowns, you like the high wire. If you don't like the high wire, you like the human cannonball, whatever it ends up being. And I think certain things just hit more triggers with certain people than other things do. And I think I don't know. Like, I think I don't entirely get Kenny Omega, but you can't deny the guy's popularity and the niche he fills and how many people just like eat out of that guy's hand when he's in the ring. But I think as a performer, as a draw, in the United States especially, I think Roman Reigns should have, if that's going to be the 2, I think Roman Reigns should have slid into the number 1 spot there. But who was number 3 anyhow?
I got the magazine downstairs. I got to be honest with you. I got no idea.
All right. It was probably Bill Collier. It was probably that midget Bill Collier.
So. That midget. Well, you kind of. So I got 2 more for you, buddy.
Okay.
And you kind of answered the next one. CM Punk. Just give me a short sentence.
CM Punk. Incredibly intelligent. When you speak to him, when you meet him, he's incredibly intelligent. That's the way he comes off. He understands very well what this is about, extremely well. Helped me understand it better too. He did. So,
Awesome.
props to CM Punk. You can see a picture of me and him on my Facebook if you check it out.
I
CM
did
Punk.
see that.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I spent some time with him a couple times. He's a good dude.
Jay, before you give him your number 5, I got one for Jimmy.
Okay.
And Jimmy, it has to be only one word. Has to be one word. Lance
All right.
Payne.
Snitch.
That was a lot. I thought it was going to be worse than what that was, but
Nah, I'm not trying to run fans off. Whistleblower. Yeah, that might be even better.
you owe me another $1 too, Lance Payne, by the way.
Oh man, Larry, come on, buddy.
You money making son of a bitch.
He got the villain hat on. Is he wearing the villain? That's why. That's why he's
yes.
Hey, he's nothing if he's not a villain.
doing it.
Larry was born a heel. And my last one is Jimmy the High Flying Hippie.
Whew. Man. At peace.
All right.
I'm at peace.
Very cool.
Well said.
Yeah.
I like that answer. I like it. All right, so I got 2 random questions for you, Jimmy.
Let's have 'em.
Are you a WWE or AEW guy?
Oof, man, that's a tough one. I watch a lot of wrestling, like almost an unhealthy amount still to this day. Like it's crazy as long as I've been in this and how consumed by it I still am actually. But on this day, I mean, you asked me, do I prefer WWE or AEW? And in my mind, I'm like Mid-South. No, I I like I like to see a lot of my friends and potentially in the near future myself on AEW. But I think like the product as a whole, I would still have to say WWE. I'd still probably watch and consume more of that and enjoy more of what is in front of my eyes when I'm watching it. Just for the style of wrestling that I enjoy. You know, it's probably not for everyone or anything like that, but I mean, there's been some stuff that people act like the next best thing in wrestling, and I watch it and I'm like, are you kidding me? But so like I probably don't know. I'm probably not the best critic because I have such a weird palate when it comes to wrestling. I watch stuff that other people would turn their nose up instantly. I promise you. So I'm guilty of like British World of Sport and stuff. So like there's some stuff out there you have to be a real connoisseur to enjoy. You know.
Are you a New Japan fan?
I do like New Japan wrestling. I do like New Japan. I'm pretty good friends with Chase Owens. I wrestled him a bunch of times, so I was real happy to see him get a shot with the Bullet Club. Yeah. Actually, I spent some time on the Southern tours, IWWA wrestling. They used to run 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7-day tours in the South, and I wrestled Chase Owens on those. Actually, like those tours were actually really cool because you end up wrestling people like that. That was a tour I wrestled Marty Jannetty on, Sabu. But then you'd see guys on those tours like Outlaw Ron Bass and Bunkhouse Buck and Manny Fernandez and Coco Beware. And like they had just like the best mix and variety of new and old wrestling. It was so cool.
The Birdman.
Yeah, the Birdman, Coco.
Awesome.
He's a mid-carder.
I feel like I've dropped a lot of names on this show. Jeez.
You have. Hey, listen, that's your experience. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
All right, and then the final random question: what is your favorite chicken wing flavor?
Oh man, I don't eat a lot of chicken wings. This is the part where I should probably lie to you and say I'm vegan or something. No, hot, like not burn my face off, like don't melt my soul, but you know, life affirming hot. You know, something that'll light you up. I like it hot, absolutely.
Okay.
I've actually had hot wings at Buffalo Wild Wings in Buffalo. So, yeah, whenever I travel to these different cities, I try to have like the food of where you're at. So if you're in Buffalo, I guess you have Buffalo wings. I had like cheesesteaks in Philadelphia and pizza in Chicago. Like anywhere I travel to wrestle, I try to have the food of where you're at, like hot dogs in New York City. So.
Yes. Very cool. I got one more for you. What's your favorite hobby, Jimmy?
My favorite hobby, yoga, probably yoga. I do a lot of yoga. Yeah. That's how I still stay limber and agile and do the things I do after all these years of doing it. So yoga completely changed my life mentally and physically. So I recommend it to anyone. It's not something you buy at the store or hold in your hand. Yoga, it's free.
Very cool.
All right, bud. So we got just two more for you, and then we're going to let you go.
All right.
How do you feel about coming to Johnstown for the next show?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm very excited. I'd seen they signed, I believe they signed Bill Collier versus Beastman for Johnstown, which is it's a red hot match. It's what's that? What do they call that? A hoss fight. Yeah. So I'll be at the curtain for that one peering out. I like that. That's my type of wrestling. Give me monsters, But yeah, I'm excited for that one. I'm excited to wrestle. I haven't wrestled in Johnstown since I believe 2008 or 2009. When KCW ran 2 shows at the Westmont Grove.
Yeah.
I wrestled on those. I was very, very, very young. That was when I was first starting out. So it's been a long time for Johnstown. And I know it's a big time. It's a big thing for Bill Collier. He wants to come back to his hometown and kind of take over there on enemy turf as he sees it. Yeah, I'm a little more diplomatic than my partner, but so he's got a little bone to pick. So and I got his back because he's my brother. So we're excited to invade Johnstown.
There you go. All right, man. And lastly, go ahead and just cut us a little promo on being on our show here.
All right. Excellent. Yeah, this is Pro Wrestling Extreme Talk, and I am Jimmy, the Flying Hippie, the guru of woohoo, that tie-dye guy that flies so high in the sky. I am a cornucopia of charisma and creativity. Just tune into this show and see me, because I hate Lance Payne. I want to punch his face and dump him on his head one more time. Let me see that stack of dimes, and one more time, Lance Payne, I'll drop it like a pile driver. I'll make it rain.
Loved it, man. So before we let you go, Jimmy, let's get through some of these comments that we're getting real quick.
Let's do it.
Hannah Williams says, Jimmy, what's good, my guy?
Oh, Hannah, everything's great. Hannah, thank you for tuning in. Thank you. I appreciate you. She's a friend of our Imagine show on Wednesday nights. Hannah, she comes to all of our live events. She's a mega fan. All the boys know Hannah.
Very cool. And then we got a Facebook user says we need to ban Lance Payne and make him wrestle. So yes. If you ban him, he can't wrestle. So you don't want him banned.
Yeah, let's just ban the whistle and the neck brace and just shove him in the ring. I'll take care of the rest.
And I'm going to show this one. See how you react to this one.
Oh man, why you got to do that to me, Larry?
We gotta hear what you gotta say.
Lance Payne types the way he talks with no punctuation in all capitals.
Rumor has it that his neck brace is fake. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I think it's a roid cushion. I think he just put a donut around his neck.
And then somebody's Facebook user says, Jimmy the Hippie, my favorite.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. You guys are my favorite. I've performed in front of live audiences for so long, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without them. So you're my favorite.
And then we got this guy again, Lance Payne. He says, he broke my neck.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, I gave him. If you go back and watch the opening to Imagine Live every Wednesday, you can see the pile driver in question. I spike that guy, man. He has to unzip his pants to brush his teeth afterwards. It's an incredible pile driver. I mean, it was just great. It's like a pogo stick.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Jason Reese asks you, best piece of wrestling advice you've ever gotten.
Keep your mouth shut and your ears open. Absolutely.
Very cool. And then let's see, there was one more I wanted to get on here. Oh, Hannah Williams says, Jimmy, can I get a hey for my stepdad? He has tested positive for COVID.
Oh no. Hey, for Hannah's stepdad, get well, man. We pull through. Hopefully. My prayers and everything are with Hannah's stepdad. Yeah, hate to hear that one. That sucks.
And then let's see. Jason Reese says John Ross shops at Walmart.
What in the Argyle section? His sweaters look like my grandfather's socks.
Yes. So I don't know if you saw over the weekend at the show, but did you see all the signs that our buddy Jason Reese was holding up by chance?
I did. He was the exotic one, and he's claiming best frog splash in the 814. Yeah,
Yes.
I saw it. I did see that.
He had no idea what he was holding up. We said, you got to hold these up. You can't look at them until after we tell you to.
Oh, that's amazing.
He had no idea. It was hilarious.
That makes it even better. They were hilarious without even knowing that. That's funny. That's good stuff.
Yes. Hannah says, God, I love you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Anna. Appreciate it.
And then last one, Lance Payne says he's talking to his lawyer.
Uh-oh.
It's probably a public defender. It's cool. I mean, it's what it is. He talked to his lawyer. He's probably got traffic court or something. If he's talking to him about me, that won't get him anywhere. That's fine. Like I said, they're existing too much on paper and trying to get things done like that. Like typically, we've all had neighbors like that. They call the cops and they write letters and dude, I'll vandalize their stuff. Like I'm different than a lot of people, man. Like like I said, it's not a matter of of winning and losing across a desk. It's going to be a matter of winning and losing underneath the streetlight when no one's around, and we'll see how far it gets them then. They busted my face up in Houtsdale, and I'm still not completely healed. I'm forced to coexist with these guys for the time being, so I don't lose my job at Imagine Wrestling. Like I'm like one pile driver or one referee punch away from not being there. So. Like they're really, really pushing me at this point, and I'm having trouble keeping it. I've had to recenter myself 3 or 4 times on this thing, so I'm not going to let them get me all riled up tonight. But I'm obviously outside, and they obviously always know where I am if they're showing up on podcasts I'm doing. Come here, show up right now, That'd be the best thing for pro wrestling extreme talk here for me to rub your face in my grass. That'd be the best thing. I'd make you squeal on this live thing in front of everyone. I
want to give an update. I just got word that their legal counsel may or may not be Clarence Mason.
Excellent reference.
I cannot confirm nor deny that. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. Young Hannah's probably 10 or 11 years old and probably that reference is completely lost on her. I promise.
Completely.
So, Jimmy, before you go, do you want to go ahead and plug anything? You want to let people know where to find you?
Absolutely, man. You guys already do a great job of this. Support Imagine Wrestling. That is what it's about right now. It's my home promotion. I help train at their dojo. They got a ton of good stuff going on, really exciting things coming up heading into the end of this year and the start of next year. We got some really big announcements to make. So, just support Imagine Wrestling, support myself, and support yourself, and support yourselves too. Mental health and peace of mind is a really strong tool to have. Make sure you're utilizing it.
Very cool, Jimmy. Well, I personally want to thank you for coming on tonight and talking with us. It's been a great time, and I can't speak for JJ, but I'll let him do it. Let's hear what that shithead has to say. Go ahead.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. It was a great interview, and we'd love to have you on again and just shoot the shit about pro wrestling, man. We could go for hours.
Yeah. We'll have to do that. Maybe we'll we'll have to cut a deal here. I'll come back on if instead of banning the pile driver, we ban Lance Payne from the chat next time I'm on here, and we'll start small here, and maybe I can get a ball rolling that way because I'm making no traction as of yet.
we'll talk terms. I'm not getting involved with his legal counsel, but we'll figure something out.
All right, well, Larry, I'll pay $2, man. If that's what it takes, dude, I'll double it. I'll double the pay. So
that works, man. And we will see you on the 30th in Johnstown.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for having me again, guys. Like I said, peace, love, and namaste. Take care of yourselves, everyone.
You too, Jimmy. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Have a good night.
You too.
And there you have it. We had Jimmy the High Flying Hippie. What'd you think?
You know what? I feel like I've been saying the past couple times, one of our best ever, but the past couple months, we've just been having home run interviews.
Very humble. He's very humble.
Yeah.
And I think you finally found your maker when it comes to talking wrestling.
I think so. I might have to do that one by myself because you're not going to be able to keep up.
No, absolutely not. So, as Jimmy said earlier, Imagine Wrestling is coming to Johnstown in a few weeks, the 30th of October. And the main event is Johnstown's hometown boy, big time Bill Collier, going up against MLW's newly signed star, Beastman.
Yeah.
And then also, they just released today that the Rad Boys will be facing the Watch for the tag titles, I believe. That's going to be a really good match also.
After the screw job.
Yep, after the Altoona screw job. Yep, they're going to get their payback, I think. And then they did announce Jimmy the Hippie's opponent yet, but I'm sure whoever that will be an amazing match as usual, you know?
Yeah, no doubt.
So anything else you want to say before we get off here, shithead?
What have you got coming up?
Tomorrow we got the Rad Boys. The Rad Boys will be in the house.
Yeah. Just a little. It's not a full length interview. We're just going to talk to them about their experience coming to Main Street Hobby and do a little promotion for the October 30th show.
Yep, absolutely.
And we may or may not have something coming up later this week.
Yes. It is not finalized, but we may have a special treat for you this week. Another treat, as Jimmy was the first treat of the week. Then tomorrow the second treat, the Rad Boys, and then possibly a third treat.
Might be.
And it is October, trick or treat. I think I'm gonna take the trick more than the treat.
Well, you do like a good trick.
Oh man! All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Pro Wrestling Extreme Talk. We just talked to Jimmy the Hippie, and we will see you tomorrow for the Rad Boys. All right, guys. We will see you tomorrow.